went along there, and I didn't know we was losing altitude. Well, to make a longer story short, we got over. I didn't know where we was, but I knew that they hadn't dropped the bomb, because when they did, I know it because there'd be an uplift of the airplanes, see? And we was flying along there, and we got, all at once, we did see one fighter go by, but he couldn't see us. Then all at once, well, I felt that they dropped the bomb. I knew then,
Percussion.
yeah, I knew then that we was not in the Netherlands, because they had dropped the bomb on German, some little place in Germany, so they dropped the bomb. So then, I knew then we was probably crossing, we were probably over the Netherlands, which was right, see. And then, weather began to clear, and then it moved on over. The pilot was losing control, and I knew we was losing altitude. B-17 was great, it could take a lot of damage. It was a great airplane. And I know we almost got over the Dutch coast one time through the Klondike Sea, and then I saw one chute go by. See, ordinarily, one of my crew members, he'd been up there, if he'd known, he'd have crawled back there and told me, see, what was going on, but they didn't know what was going on either. Intercom's out, you don't know. And I got thinking, over the Dutch coast there, looked down and see the ice, the snow on all ground, and the ice on the shoreline, and then the North Sea. And now it looks like I wish that pilot would get away from this, get inland, because when I bail out, I don't want to land in the North Sea.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we've got a heated suit. It's a bright blue heated suit. Boy, you had to. And you take your GI shoes off. The first thing you do when you get in an airplane, you tie them together and put them next. If you ever bail out, you better take those shoes with you. Because
I didn't know that.
oh, you had, because when you're flying that the northern part, it's like up in Canada over here. Now down in the south, they didn't even have heated suits down there. Out of Italy, and those in the southern part, they didn't have that problem so much. Isolated cases they did. But that heated suit, and then you had what they call it the Mae West. It's our life jacket. They call that a Mae West. That's all everybody knew was a Mae West. And that was a life jacket. If you got in the water, there's a little plunger you pull and then inflate it, you know. Then you had your parachute harness. Got this parachute harness on, and it's a male-female type snap. Two of them, see, well, it snaps onto your vest here you wear, and you to get that, you better get out of that parachute before you hit the water if you possibly can. If you hit the water, and that shroud line's that parachute, you may go 15, 20 feet down, but that'll drown you, that shroud line. So what they always told us, what you need to do to get out of that parachute. And I was trying to figure out, and what you do, you got to pull your weight up, see. You pull it up before you can take up the slack enough to disengage that. In fact, I already just had one hanging on, that helped, so I just had to have one of them. And I thought, well, you have to pull that down there and take that slack up and then pull it out. And hold on to the shroud line before you hit the water, then it'll disappear just like that. Well then, I was worried about that, see. Then I saw two more chutes go by, and this time I knew it was just about time to go. And I took my oxygen mask off, disconnected myself, had a heater cord, you can't just jump out, you gotta connect to all this stuff here, see. And and I disconnected myself to get out of all that, and Then about the time we got ready to get up, I was gonna get up and get ready to bail out of there. I couldn't move. I mean, I couldn't move. I knew this was it. You know, centrifugal force, you know. And I looked at you, I knew we was angled now on had one engine left, and it was sharp turn. It seemed like minutes, but it was only about 10 or 15 seconds, and then it released me. And then I could see daylight out there, weather cleared up. I knew one thing: before woof, that's when they get right on your tail then, and we knew it was crippled. And I thought I'll wait another minute or two, because I've only counted 3 shoots when there was 6 more I hadn't left yet. So I got up, said all that stuff, and I got to looking, because there's a hole in that. If they'd go up here, they'd do it now. And I'm telling you, it wasn't a minute and a half. I was looking through, I got a 12/6 armor plate glass, you know, and looked through my sight there. Oh, there was 2 4.190s out there, 600 to 800 yards. With 50 caliber machine gun, that's point blank. That's point blank. Boy, and I knew them as soon as they saw us, they fired those 12 millimeters, and we're done, so I'll never get out of here. And I got them lined up just like that, and I hit that trigger for 3 seconds. I had a 3-second burst. I couldn't hear it, but I knew the gun was working because I feel the vibration. You know, that I hit that, and I could see 2 seconds. I saw it. The 3rd second, clouds. And I'll never know this day whether I blew them up or not. But I know I had to, because 1, 2 seconds, just a 3-second burst, but 2 seconds going, and the last second, it was covered up with a cloud, see. But then, when I got up, and I knew that danger was over, and I got my shoes, and I saw 3 more shoots go by. The ship was going down. And I had an escape hatch to myself right down to my left, a little low. Now, another thing, I forgot to check that. You should always check everything, but you'll be sure that slide's all right, you know. And sure enough, I reached down there and just moved a little bit, and boy, it just disappeared, you know. After we looked. So then, the ship was going down, and I got my GI shoes, threw them over my shoulder, and left the ship, you know. You don't pull your ripcord too soon, you know. One mission I saw a ship down about 5,000 feet below us on this mission, and I saw this guy, he shoot too soon, and it was hanging on the stabilizer back there, you know, and he was hanging there. There's 3 ME-109s attacking him. They'd shot one down, and I saw that thing blew up. And the last time I saw that guy was hanging on there. See, he pulled the ripcord too soon. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
the updraft got him.
Yeah, that's right. That German, the Germans shot him down. The ME-109s, that fired, man, they blew the airplane up, and he was gone. Anyway, as I would bail down. And then I got to thinking about it. Just started descending. I got to thinking about that story I wrote.
Okay. Okay, now Warren, we're going to take just a minute to break, and then I'm going to come back to where you're descending out of the airplane.
That's right, yeah.
Today is still February 13th, 2007, and I'm still visiting with Warren Taylor, and he's going to share a little bit more about as he parachuted out of the plane that was going down, that was damaged and was going down. Okay, Warren, you are drifting down to the ground in your parachute. Did you wait until it was the right time to pull the ripcord?
Oh yeah, I sure did, yeah.
Okay. Now, you had an interesting thing to tell us about when you were in junior college and about a story you wrote. So you want to tell about that?
Oh, yeah. The last semester, the teacher, she said, write about a 700 letter or word short story with character. Of course, I didn't know what she meant by character. But I wanted, I wrote, Johnny Stevens, he wrote one too. I never did read his, you know. But I was interested in aerial warfare. The setting was in France, World War One.
Okay.
They're flying these old cardboard airplanes, that's all they had. And I was a pilot in there. On my first mission up, I encountered the Germans and I was defeated. I was shot down. I bailed out. Most of this story that I wrote was about while I was descending, see. And I was concerned about what was that, how I'd be, I knew I was dead. Whether I'd be shot, bayoneted, or what, and I was going through all those four. Now,
That's in your story.
That's in my story. I'm saying, now, maybe they can shoot me down before I even hit the ground. They can do that. When I got down there, I could be shot. They could put me in a firing squad. There'd be a bayonet over here. I went through all four of those, you know. And then to make the way I ended the story, when I landed in the parachute, safe, just where we took off from, you know. Well, that was really a story.
That was fiction.
That was fiction. And
Okay, but now you're coming out of the plane and you pull your rip cord on your parachute and you're drifting down.
Yeah, right.
Are you having some of the same feelings?
Yeah, I had a lot to think about, but I thought about that same, and this is not fiction. This is a real thing, and that would just think 2, 3, 4 years before that, 3, 4 years before that, 3 years maybe, and that's quite ironic. But here I knew one thing. It was in the Netherlands, and let me say, a lot of people don't realize this, but in World War II, the Dutch Underground was well known, especially by all those personnel that flew out of the 8th Air Force in England. The Dutch Underground they helped you. Bail out in the Netherlands, they could help you. And the way they could help you, during the war, Sweden, Switzerland, Spain was neutral.
Okay.
If you bailed out or had a crash landing in Sweden or Switzerland, you interned for the duration. You live in hotels, live the duration out, and your particular government would pay the bill. See, that's what they do. So there's so much air traffic crossing the Netherlands to and from the German industry that there's many of you guys just like me bailed out over the Netherlands. So I'm about to land in this, and coming down the chute, I didn't see any Germans, but there was a group of people, mostly, I didn't know what a senior citizen was then, but they're older people and 10, 11-year-old kids, about 20 of them rushing out to help me. And I noticed my back. It did smart a little where that flak had hit me, but it hurt a little bit. But anyway, when I hit the ground, it was away from the Dutch coast. I was glad of that. There was a high wind, the east wind going, and I was proud of that because it kept me away from the
Water.
North Sea.
Okay.
You get to the North Sea, you wouldn't last 20 minutes, 15 minutes in there. You'd freeze to death, see, especially in the wintertime. And these people running out to help me, you know. And I hit the ground, that parachute took me. They always told us how you take the air out, how you take the air out of the chute to stop it, see. You take 2 or 3 of the shroud lines and pull them, and you can spill it, what they call. So I hit the ground. I didn't have time for that. That parachute, that high wind, it took me, and I was trying to spill it and couldn't, and it ripped my wristwatch off, ripped my gash in my hand, my whole forearm there was that fast 6 inches of snow on the ground. You hit something bad, it tore that off. That smarted a little bit. When we finally got it stopped, all these people run out. Now they'd been there before. 2 of these older guys, they come help me get all this stuff I had.
Now, what? How old were they? Too young?
Oh, they were men. These were senior, older men. Older,
Okay.
most of them older men, older women. I saw 2 or 3 girls that had skirts on made out of American parachutes, was just white. The German parachutes was eggshell, kind of tan looking. See, they didn't have any of them, but some of them had used that silk, you know. Anyway, these 2 old men, they didn't say anything. They come out and helped me get out of the chute harness and out of that heated suit out, and he got the heated suit out, and he come around and he was saying something. He showed me on the back of it, that blood about that big, spot about that big around on my back where that shrapnel hit, but it felt pretty good, and he rubbed that one piece of flak in there, so I didn't have any sticking, so it wasn't too bad. But my wrist, he got a little, he looked at it, but nothing, he had to get out of there and leave. They took the parachute and my heated suit, all that with them. And all these people, they were really nice to me. And I had an escape kit. I took it, I wanted to know where it was, see. It had an escape kit, compass, and what I need to do is go north, see. But I also found a packet of Allied currency, $1,500. Now, never in any of these briefings has our military ever told us that we had this money to give to some of these people, but don't let the Germans have. They never mentioned that, never, not one time. But that morning, when I was getting ready for the mission, getting the guts of the guns, you know, you take the guts of 50 caliber machine guns, about 12, 14 inches long, about 2 inches square, and that's the bolt. Boy, that's the whole thing. That you always have them in a little shack covered with oil and grease, and you have to wipe all that off because it'd freeze up there. Anyway, as they were getting ready, and I heard one of the guys, see, it's pitch dark, and I heard one of the guys reminds the boy, you know, if you get into that, you know what I'm talking about, into that build, you know, be sure to do the right thing with you. If you do, we don't know who got any of it, but what we don't want. It's best not to let the Germans have it. If you can't destroy or do something with it, if you can't give it to the right people. Well, here I had in that escape kit of mine, I had that packet of 7. It was $1,500. I didn't count. I couldn't count it, but I'd heard them say that's how much it was. If you ever got one.
Did every crew member have that?
No, nobody. I didn't know I even had it.
Oh, so they just picked out one of you.
A lot of them might have had it with me, but when there's a lot of activity, like going to Berlin or Schweinfurt, those big lean targets. Well, I imagine they know that sometimes you cross over that country and you come back. They might have just had 1 or 2. You never knew. They might just guess here and there. See, I just so happened that I had one and had that money, that $1,500.
So they just picked out individuals.
Not individual. They just
randomly.
Random, yeah. Once in a while, they didn't do that all the time. See.
Okay.
They just, now they knew that the mission to Berlin would be bad. They knew that there'd be a lot of losses. See, yeah, it was fast though. It didn't get to know anybody very long. They wouldn't be there. They're gone. They've shut down. They're gone. New guys coming in. It was kept flying right into the heart of the German Luftwaffe. It's really something the American people should have been real proud of. Here we did not know anything about warfare. We had a good Navy. Good Navy. Probably all the money that our Congress voted in went to the Navy because that's where a lot of our interest was at that time. But anyway, it's this $1,500 was just random here and there. But they knew this mission to Berlin
Was bad.
was somebody. Yeah, they might have. I don't know how many. I might have been the only one, but maybe everybody had that. See, in that. But I went from there. This hurt me quite a bit, but what I need to do now is I didn't see any Germans. Now I got to think, I couldn't figure out why I didn't see any Germans. Then later on, one thing came to me, years later. This is about 5, 6 months before D-Day. The Germans were all up on the coastline expecting the Allied offense
Yeah.
somewhere. That's where most all these Germans were. And the one there, the German Wehrmacht, the Luftwaffe, they were none of them. I was fortunate then. I didn't see any of them. So what you got to do, you travel the countryside and you hope that the underground, the sea, what stopped it.
Warren, did you blend in? Did you look like everybody
Oh
else?
no, I didn't. I had this. I had to cover all uniform on. They knew what I was, you know. I was an American average. They knew that. They'd seen enough of them. But
So the people of the Netherlands where you were
yeah,
knew immediately when they saw you that you were.
they probably did. I went to first. They had a lot